Hello, all. This is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about the trade off between rigor and reputation at a business school. So, this is something that we all have to deal with. And we all are faced with this decision when we are doing our PhD. So, if you don't know, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I'm doing these videos to give back as much as I possibly can because there were so many people that helped me along the way to get my PhD that I just wanted to give back. And so I'm doing all sorts of different videos on what it's like to be a graduate student, how to deal with these kind of things. And this was a question that was asked by, I think it's Gant to rock and roll. So it's the username Gant to rock and roll. So first of all, if I answer a question in these YouTube videos and it's specifically one of your questions, I only ask one thing. You have to go out in the next hour after watching this video and do something nice for somebody else. That's it. It's all about reciprocity. And I don't care what it is. You can go and write a letter to somebody, an email to somebody, and say how much you appreciate them. You can go out and pick up some garbage outside. Just pick up a couple of pieces of garbage. It doesn't matter. You can take your dog for a walk, right? You can be nice to your animals as well. You can do whatever it is. I don't know what you're going to do. But I just think that if you just go do something nice, we can, if this happens and this starts growing a little bit more, then we can really do something that's wonderful in this world that is really, really well needed. Yeah, so that's it. So, anyways, so there's this trade-off in when you're choosing a PhD between sort of pursuing something that is more rigorous or sort of based on reputation. You're looking at one of them, and sometimes they get confounded. Where one school that is sort of prestigious, they have a lot of rigor at that particular school as well. And all schools have sort of changed over the course of the matter of decades that have happened. So schools that you think that are like the most prestigious schools in the world right now were not that way at all, even a few years ago. So schools like Carnegie Mellon used to be called Carnegie Tech. That was back in the, I think it was the 30s, 40s, the 40s. It was started. And it was not really considered a legitimate school. So what they did is they got some really good people together, and they started building something that was cool. And it took a long time before it actually got some sort of prestige. Stanford University was not really considered all that prestigious. And if you ask the sort of people that have been there a long time and they made the decision to go to Stanford University, they were choosing between like Harvard, that was so prestigious at the time, still is, hasn't really changed, and going to Stanford. And Stanford was a real big decision because it was this like, nobody wanted to deal with this school, right? Like it was just this no-name school at the time. And now it's become this big thing. And so everybody has dealt with this at some point in their life, and you're not alone when you're making this decision for a PhD, whether you should go to one that's more prestigious versus one that is going to sort of reflect on your research a little bit more and help you do research. So my advice with any of this kind of stuff is that sort of prestige changes on a regular basis, right? So status, prestige, all that kind of stuff, it's sort of constantly changing and it evolves. Anybody that's been in academia knows that this changes extremely quickly. There'll be pockets of, at one point in time, a school will become hot. There will be a moment where, maybe it's 10 years or a decade that they become, it's hot. It's like the place to be. And then for whatever reason, it just kind of disintegrates and some other school becomes the next big place and people move away and stuff like that. So what you should be looking for, and there's schools like that have really become hot, like really cool places. And now they're kind of, and they kind of fade and stuff like that. So my advice is worry about doing good research, is just go out there and do the best that you can and make a choice based on doing your research. What ends up happening is you're going to grow as a scholar and you can focus on doing good research and you will start getting known for doing good research. And sort of the second point that I was going to point out is Yeah, you worry about money and funding and things like that, and that's important. Make sure you do worry about money and funding. I teach business. Like, come on, you got to worry about that kind of stuff, right? Like that, the financial aspect of it, being financially conservative and worrying about that kind of stuff is extremely important. I wouldn't have gotten through my PhD without scholarships and all that kind of stuff. So money matters a lot, but the money follows people that are doing good things, right? It's a lagging indicator. And if I teach, this is a core lesson in strategy in a business school, is that money, you don't make money from money, right? Like, you make money by creating something that's cool and that people like. That's called a competitive advantage, right? That is something that's cool, and the money follows from that. It's a lagging indicator of performance. It's not the indicator of performance, although we measure it that way, right? And it's a sort of way that we try to get at something. But really, what we're trying to capture is why somebody is, or a company, or you, is really cool. And what is making you cool and perform is not the money. It helps you. It gives you a little bit of a boost sometimes. It allows you to do things that you couldn't have done before, but that's not the thing that makes you cool in the long run. And you have to think about that, right? So what makes you good, and find that location that makes you good, and that institution that makes you good and better than what you could be, is going to be the institution that sort of fits you. One thing that I do know is that a lot of people are going to give you advice that they're going to say that the thing that you're doing is wrong and is probably the incorrect thing. So you can go to X school, you can go to, I'm not going to name schools, but you can go to X school or you can go to Y school. And X school is really prestigious. You have that choice between going to X and Y. And a lot of people are going to say go to X school, but then you could choose to go to Y school, and it could be just as good and provide just as good as a sort of a PhD, and it's going to help you out. But there's some caveats there, right? So a PhD is only as good as you are, and you have to get out there and you have to do great things yourself, right? So in order to become famous, you have to do the things that make you become famous, like get out there and do good research and sort of build your university. This is the one thing that I talk about on a regular basis to my PhD students, is you have to build your university. A university is a figment of your imagination. Yes, there's buildings and stuff like that, but it's only as good as the people that are there. So you have to go, if there's nobody at your school that you want to work with, go find people that you want to work with. Go step by step. So there's somebody at your school that you're probably moderately close to. You work with them, then you leverage that relationship to go work and do, maybe it's a visiting position someplace. And then you leverage that relationship at a visiting position and go to another place. And this is how people build their academic career until they get to a place where everybody really wants to work with them, right? Because they know all these people and they've done all these cool things. And when they started out, there were nobody, absolutely nobody. And everybody starts that way. It doesn't matter if you're at Stanford, or if you're at Harvard or wherever it is that you're going to. It doesn't matter. Everybody has started out as like a complete nobody at some stages, and you have to build your university, you have to build your program, and it takes a matter of years. And prestige will help you getting your first job, definitely will. But is it going to help you getting your fifth, sixth job? Yeah, there'll probably be a little bit of residual effect that's happening there. But what's happening is that you are building your platform and who you are and what you're going to say, and people get attracted to people that are doing cool things, right? So my advice, and it was advice that was given to me, and I think it was really great advice. I take it to heart. Is try to disregard as much of this stuff that happens all around you. So this person was stealing it from Richard Feynman. I don't know if you ever know who Richard Feynman is. He was an extremely bright physicist and done some wonderful things in physics. And there's a great book about his biography. You can look it up. Anyways, it's the whole point is just disregard all that stuff. It's not going to benefit you in any sort of way. What benefits you is doing good research and finding a place that's going to help you to do good research. So whether it's in a city, and because you love cities, whether it is in the country because it's peaceful and you're not distracted, whether it is, I don't know, it's close to where your parents are because you can run and visit your parents on a regular basis rather than flying there. You have lots of responsibilities that way. Whatever it is, you got to find the place that makes you perform and to allow you to do good research. And whatever that looks like, that's up to you to decide what that looks like, what doing good research is. But it should be considered, it should take effort and it should be difficult to do. But that is what's going to help you in the long run. It's not going to be the prestige and stuff like that. That's a lagging indicator. All of that stuff is a lagging indicator. I know I created, I was sort of modeling that in the paper that I was developing was status. There's a great paper that has done this in the Academy of Management, and so we are sort of replicating that particular that stuff, and it's just basically a lagging indicator of what performance had happened in the past, right? Like, or what people are doing good things, and the status and prestige goes to all of that after the fact, right? It's not sort of a production. It doesn't produce more status and prestige and stuff like that. It's a lagging indicator of you doing really good, creative, interesting things that people like to see and are challenging that not a lot of people can do. And that's really, at the end of the day, that's what you have to consider, is find a place that allows you to do that. And if there's a professor or somebody that you can work with around the world that is at some place and you really want to work with them, go work with them, because that's going to help you do the thing that you have to do and make you become a better person. And that's really what it is. The institution matters because there's, other people that are going to push you and give you extra prestige and signaling effects and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's what makes you perform. And if you can perform and do a good job and create this sort of competitive advantage in the long run, then the prestige and the money and all that kind of stuff will follow. It really, truly does in the long run. I truly believe that. I'm a work in progress as well. I'm not filthy rich in any sort of way, but I'm much better off than what I was starting out. My parents had very little money. We were okay. My dad worked in a pulp and paper mill. And now I'm a professor in a business school in some crazy foreign country. It's not crazy; it's a wonderful country. But it's using this as my core advice and my core sort of insight has really helped me. And this was only given to me from other people that have done very good and amazing things in their life. So that's all I'm going to sort of tell you about that decision. Hopefully this helped you with making this decision going forward. And yes, prestige matters. Not going to discount that in any sort of way. You do get a lot of benefits from prestige and status and stuff like that. However, if you're going to do good research, you should be able to do good research no matter where you are, and sort of focus on doing good research. And if there's something that's holding you back from doing good research, well, then move. Right? Like, at the end of the day, move and find a place that's going to get you to do good research. And it's up to you to decide. All right. Hopefully this answered your question. Gaunt to rock and roll. Love the name. And by the way, go out and do something nice within the next hour. All right. Take care and have a wonderful day. Oh, by the way, give me a thumbs up if you like this video and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right. Take care. Bye.